Cue the puns. Airlines soaring in the third quarter as travel and leisure continues its recovery from COVID-19. American Airlines, for one, boosting premium seats by 60% on strong demand. So what are the best names to own headed into next year? Joining us now, Conor Cunningham, Melius Research Director. Conor, good to see you as always. Let's start on American Airlines because their focus on boosting premium seats, certainly, I would argue, went viral online. What is the earnings impact to that company from doing that?
So premium seating has been a big deal for quite some time. Airlines have been, if you look historically, there hasn't been a lot of new mainline economy seats being added to the system. It's mostly been the growth has been through premium seating. So this has been a mega trend that I would say throughout the industry for quite some time that's been occurring. So yeah, American, getting rid of first class and adding more business seats is really, they're just trying to add products that people are willing to purchase. At the end of the day. So what a big trend again that I think the airlines have learned from the past is that historically they've done a really bad job of actually selling their seats from a premium standpoint. And so now they're actually doing a much better job of displaying it to folks, making the price less shocking when you're looking at them and more reasonable for the common person to kind of look at and potentially buy. So yeah, it's been a big trend. Something that we expect to continue. Huge benefits for Delta, United, American on some level as we look out into the future.
And Conor, this is on outsized leisure travel. When do you expect corporate travel to come back in fuller force?
Yeah, so corporate travel has grinded up for quite some time now. There's been a lot of ink spilled over the demise of corporate travel, Zoom being something that people talk a lot about all the time. But corporate travel is about 80% recovered from a volume standpoint right now. The yields themselves are doing pretty well too. So, it's a steady grind higher. Our expectation is that in the fourth quarter, there won't be another big step up. That's going to be more of a 2023 event. So we still continue to believe there'll be a full recovery. It's just going to look a lot different. You hear a lot about these blended itineraries that people are doing. So
leisure,
people are going rather than your
Conor.
traditional travel days on corporate, that's moving more to untraditional days. Which is de-risking a lot of the issues that some of the airlines have seen throughout the week.
Conor, how do these stocks perform in a recession next year?
The million-dollar question. So, yeah, recessions typically aren't great for the airlines, but what I would say is that, the airlines went through hell and back, and now we're kind of getting through it, and we're not still fully recovered to traditionally what the airlines view as their percentage of GDP that they want to be on a revenue standpoint. So they would view that they've already made the adjustments. What I would say is that a lot of the airlines still aren't back to 2019 capacity. So if we do hit a major recession and demand does ease, we could see them just not add the seats back. And so again, it's all about them commanding more pricing power and whatnot. They're going to do the best job that they possibly can from trying to match supply and demand. So again, they wouldn't necessarily add back the capacity. So do I expect the airlines to trade really well in an environment like that? I think they'll be choppy at first until the adjustments are made. But they've been learning a lot and moving very quickly from that standpoint historically. So, I am somewhat optimistic. There is an overarching trend, though. People are still willing to spend money, and they're spending more on services and experiences than they are on, a couch. So, that trend is still very much in their favor right now. So, from what we can see, things still remain pretty good.
Conor, that is why I upgraded my couch. So I am one of the consumers that is already not taking as much of the price increases from airlines. Do you believe that there's a threshold where we'll see more of a trend where consumers are pushing back on pricing?
Yeah, it's a good question. We haven't seen it yet. What I would say is that they're really the market right now from a supply standpoint is still super limited and going to be limited through of next year. And so traditionally, air traffic has kind of grown at 2 times GDP, and capacity has generally kept pace. Airlines really haven't been able to add back anything for quite some time, so we're still trying to catch up. So there's still a massive supply demand imbalance, and people are still willing to pay up for those fares. There still will be deals to be had in like the off-peak time frames if you're willing to be flexible. But if you're looking to book for Thanksgiving, like we would suggest doing it now if you haven't already, it's only going to get more expensive. Peaky days will remain very, very, the pricing environment will remain very high there. So again, if you can be flexible, you may find some opportunities, but there hasn't been a pushback yet. We're not talking about massive fare increases here. So it's like, when we're adding $20, are you really going to not go on your vacation for that when you haven't really been able to do so for the past couple of years? So that the consumer's been willing to pay. We'll see if it stays that way.
Conor, what industry is the biggest secondary winner with this type of travel demand? We've heard travel demand cited in the corporate card complex for American Express. We've heard it cited in the roaming from some of the major telecom providers as well. Who wins out when we see more of that traveling actually take place?
Yeah, I mean, so you're just looking through the whole travel complex. So yeah, airlines are one beneficiary of it. But you can start to look towards, lodging and so on. Cruise lines have been very beat up. Leisure, they're very much leisure focused. They got their own issues, but there's potential there as things start to normalize. But yeah, I mean, lodgings would be another big winner. The one difference between them and the airlines is that they can't move their capacity around. So if you have a hotel, you're not tearing it down. Airlines can move things in and out. So in our view right now, the big winners are the airlines, but over the long term, people will then start to look towards the bookings of the world, the OTAs. Those guys will also benefit from this massive trend. But right now, where you want to be is on the corporate side and international side. What we've seen during earnings is this shift from domestic to international driving the revenue benefits. So that, again, our view is that you should be looking more towards Deltas and the Uniteds of the world, which are the larger international corporate-focused airlines out there.
Within that answer, however, Conor, you did remind me of my second reason that I upgraded my couch, which is because I'm not getting on a cruise. Conor Cunningham, Melius Research Director, thanks so much for joining us here today. Appreciate it.